Could this take years?
I would think of it in terms of years, yes.
The reality is that there is no legal justification today for the administration to engage in a long-term conflict with ISIS.
That was Lieutenant General William Mayville at the Pentagon this morning, followed by Democratic Senator Chris Murphy on this network this evening. Joining me now to discuss the legal basis for America's latest undeclared war are David Corn, the Washington Bureau Chief for Mother Jones, and an MSNBC political analyst, and Jonathan Turley, law professor at George Washington University. Professor Turley, what is your reading of the legal basis for the action that's been taken in Syria?
Well, there's certainly not a constitutional basis. This is yet another undeclared war from a president who says that he doesn't have to consult, let alone get approval to go to war. We are launching attacks against a foreign country. We are hitting targets within Syria. It violates international law, and it violates the United States Constitution. You know, the framers were students of war. They lived through a war. This is the very danger they wanted to avoid by requiring declarations of war. All these questions you're having, Lawrence, about how long will it be? Is this a knife and gun attack, or is there something more serious? None of those questions are answered because we've never had the debate, let alone the declaration of war.
Well, we actually haven't had a declaration of war, David Corn, since World War II, and yet we seem to be able to we have an awful lot of war dead in this country since then. This is a mutual defiance of the Constitution that we see here between the presidency and the Congress.
No, unfortunately, I think you're right. I think David's right. This has been the reality of the constitutional history of the United States. Congress has been a rather unfaithful partner in the constitutional structure that we have. Having said that, I put a lot of blame on the courts. You know, the courts have removed themselves from this by the so-called standing doctrine. They prevent people from challenging wars like this by saying you have no right to be heard in this court. And the result is that the two other branches can blatantly violate the Constitution. And we end up in this type of perpetual war. I just gave a speech at a university out west, and I realized that for most of the students in that audience, they've lived their entire life in wartime. I mean, they don't know peacetime. We've come into this strange parallel universe where we live in perpetual war. We have this uber presidency of dominant president, precisely what the framers told us not to do, and the result is predictable. Wars are always popular to start, and politicians know that, so they all get on the bandwagon as long as they don't have to put their name on the paper. You know, this was an easy issue to present to Congress. You had plenty of time to do it. They didn't. And I don't want to draw a distinction between Obama and Nixon. Obama or Bush, he's outdoing both of his predecessors.
Let me just read you something before we go that the president said when he was a candidate for president in 2007. He said, "The president does not have power under the Constitution to unilaterally authorize a military attack in a situation that does not involve stopping an actual or imminent threat to the nation."